I'm so in love with you.
We're gonna get copyright stuff. Alexa, stop.
Ow! Way.
We are live.
Oh, we have started.
We are live.
Darn, I was singing.
This is the Strong Marriage Live podcast, and this is
make me feel
so one of those episodes.
I'm back.
Hello.
Hi.
He's
Hi,
back.
everyone.
I got my favorite co-host with me today. This is
Coach Chris Soraya. That's me.
That's him.
That's your business coach. Your life coach.
All right.
Yeah, keeping the joy.
Keeping the joy.
Where there is no hope.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm Coach Tanisha. And today,
Coach T.
We're discussing all things God and healthy relationships.
All things God and healthy relationships.
And today's episode, we're sweating behind the scenes because although it's a very powerful and redemptive story, it is our story of the early days.
And I think this is a nice thing to build off of. So she wants to do one episode.
Yes.
I'm like, we're going to build a whole series off of this because this is a very important thing for people who are getting into marriage and just to know the different ways to get out, not out of the marriage, but out of the situation that you're in.
Thank you.
Because we all deal with this when we go through it. So I believe that we should do this a multi-episodal soliloquy,
sequelology.
Build off of this.
We're going to make up a bunch of words today.
I think this is something that's important because,
yes.
Where else do you find this when you're just getting married? Because you think everything's supposed to be perfect.
Right. And we did. I did.
Me too.
I thought we say I do.
I do.
But
it started right there. Oh, I didn't like that. I do. Oh, I don't like the way you said that. What? We haven't started yet.
Oh, okay.
Say hi and play your video.
Hi. We're not even going to play the video. We're going to go straight in. So, in this episode, we are going to talk about or open up about what led to, you don't know what the topic of the thing is.
Yeah. Our first year of marriage nearly broke us up.
Yeah.
Or broke us.
It nearly broke us.
Broke us.
So from almost over to starting over.
From almost over to starting over. Our first year of marriage nearly broke us.
Yes. Yes, Lord.
That's a book.
It is a book.
I could write this.
Oh, he's right. So we're going to talk about what led to
first chapter.
The breakdown of our marriage.
The breakdown.
We're going to talk about why the divorce papers were filed and who filed them.
We ain't got to talk about who filed them. Because obviously we don't remember.
I remember. I remember.
What happened on last week's episode?
That's something different. We're going to open up about how we both began to heal individually.
This is chapter 3.
And the turning point that made reconciliation possible.
Chapter 4.
That's the very important part.
It is.
And then we're going to give you action steps, the boundaries, accountability, and the grace that helped us to rebuild our marriage.
Chapter 5. Like I said, we may not, there's a lot of stuff to go through and a lot of stuff to unpack. So we may not get through this episode and cover all chapter 5 things that we have because the action steps are very important. But if we try to rush through something and give you the action steps before you know how to use the action steps, where to use the action steps, what we did, that could cause you to try to go to the end and never even understand when you're supposed to use it.
Okay.
I like her. Okay.
Whew, yeah, because it's not a fairy tale; it's our testimony. And
fairy tale now.
It's fairy tale now.
What's the fairy tale? I don't know what that means.
The fairy tale that I had in my
fairy tale means it's not true. It's just an imagination of what you think it's going to be is a fairy tale.
Well, I had a fairy tale about marriage.
It's like myth. It's a myth. Mythology. It's a fairy tale, right?
Is it?
Yeah. Well, I know one thing. It's not once upon a time. This is what happened.
Right. This was a real story.
It's a real story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one that we hope will give you hope and give every couple who's in the middle of a mess.
Or before
hope.
you get into a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, before you get into a mess.
We would like to get this information to you before you get in the mess so that you can avoid the mess.
Yeah.
So we're not sharing our story because it's easy to tell. It is not. I want to rush through it.
I'm not rushing.
I want to get through it because it's uncomfortable and it's ugly and it's not a good thing and not something I think about. But we're sharing it because healing is possible even after a heartbreak.
Yes, heartbreak. Yes.
So reconciliation is real. As Christians, and of course we are a Christian couple, a Christian podcast, we know that Christ has made us ministers of reconciliation. So reconciliation definitely is real for Christians, even after divorce papers are filed. And marriage can still thrive even after a rocky start. But if you're here now and there's no rocks, you can avoid the rocky start, okay?
Surfing.
Yes. So whether you're in a struggling relationship or know someone who is, or simply want to understand what real growth and commitment look like, we invite you to listen in to this episode.
This one.
So let's try to recall the events of the story.
Well, events of the story. Well, we met in
May 1993.
I'm trying to make sure it was May. Let's see, your birthday was in July. So yeah, I guess we met in May, although we've always seen each other. That's the funny thing about it.
He always seen me.
I didn't see her. Trust me, I did not see her.
Well, why you say we always saw each other?
Because we're always in the same proximity because families,
fraternity and
sororities. We are always around, except there was an age difference. So I would not have noticed her because there was an age difference. Because you had just got to college.
Oh, high school too, yeah. Because you
I definitely wouldn't know you in high school. I was coaching.
You was coaching the football team at my high school.
Right, but you weren't even at high school during that time, were you?
When you were coaching.
Yeah, you would have known something, but
yeah. So coaching.
And then of course, because your cousin was one of my friends since I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Playing football. 8th grade. Yeah, 8th grade. Yeah. So that would have been, and you're 4 years younger than me. So I sure as heck did not know you then.
Oh, he wasn't gonna let you know me then.
Well, I wouldn't have let you know me then. So yeah, that was we had met officially in May when I was DJing.
Yes.
Yeah, because I used to DJ, and then we officially met.
He got the party started.
Yes. You want to take it from there? So we just met.
We met in May.
Not like dating.
Not like we didn't. We didn't start dating until June of 93.
Because I wasn't talking to her. We weren't talking to each other.
Really?
No?
Okay.
Yeah, we were.
We're gonna skip over the date of the how we officially met and all that in June at a party.
Okay, we're gonna skip over that. Of course, yes.
Shout out to Milt and what's his roommate's name?
His brother.
His brother, Patrick.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys for throwing that house party.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Pledges. Yeah.
Okay. So that was in June.
Yeah. But we didn't actually date then. We didn't date.
We did in June.
No, we didn't. We dated after the party. We didn't date then. We dated at Cookie's party. We had met there.
That was in June.
Yeah, and that was the official meeting in June.
Oh, you would have named that one the official.
That was the official meeting because we really weren't talking.
No, we weren't talking, but you made your intention known.
Okay, see, and this is perception. Perception, because you were stepping and you were in a line, and I was like, hey, how y'all doing? So it's like, hey, cast the net and see what you can catch.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I cast the net. Didn't catch nothing.
Okay.
Didn't catch nothing.
Okay.
But we're at the Cookie party. Cookie is.
Shout out to Cookie.
Yes. Love me some Cookie.
Yeah, love you, Cookie.
So we're at Cookie's party, and then y'all playing cards and everything. And then I guess I came over to the table where y'all were, but it's just a party going on. It's like what, 15 people there, something. Everybody's just sitting. Everybody's sitting there playing cards, drinking, talking, and everything. Back in the day, your ex was there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Pizza Boy.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So he was there. My boy was there. Jose was there, and then we're sitting there talking and
Jose was there. He was sitting next to you.
Yeah, because we always went everywhere together. So, let's see, you were.
It was me
Pizza
and
Boy,
Curlin.
and Pizza Boy was like, "Oh, that's
Stop
mine."
calling him that.
That's my girl.
R.I.P. Oh,
well, Domino's. Anyway, so he was there, and then I came over to the table. We're sitting there going, and Carolyn. I know Carolyn because I knew Carolyn from the University of Louisville. And Carolyn I was like, "Hey, Carolyn, you want to go out?" And then Tanisha came over and said, "Don't you ask her out. You asked me out."
Is that really how the conversation went?
That's what I
thought
remember.
You asked her to go to the movies and she said no. And I said, I want to go to the movies.
You would ask me. There you ask her out. That's what I remember.
Well, how dare you ask her out when you had made your intentions known to me?
But this was just, Carolyn was just a friend. I was like, "Oh, you want to go out?" And Carolyn, I think Carolyn looked at you because you kicked her or something. I don't know what happened. It's like,
Carolyn Kane, sis, get on the live.
I'm just saying.
She doesn't remember.
I just remember you said you would ask me, and I said, "Yeah, well, would you like to go out?" And she said, "Yes." And we went out, and we went to Old Charlie's, and we had a good time. And yes, but that was that was June. She told me we were going out.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And then when did you propose the first time? Because I had a ring on my finger in August '93.
It was a bunch of different times.
It was 3 times.
It was 3 times, but it's just hey.
So that was what?
It was a few times, but nonetheless, it all started with you telling me that I was going to go out with you. I was like, okay, I see. Yeah, this is the way it's going to be.
That's the way it's going to be. So then
we didn't even talk about the other times when we met and everything, like because we met going up to Chicago because it was a Sigma weekend conference. It was a conference.
The Boulé.
The Boulé. Boulé. It's not called Boulé for men, but anyway, it was our Sigma conference up in Chicago. It was a great time. Great time. And we're not going to talk about that, but it was a good time.
You made your intentions known when you came out.
Intentions. No.
Anyway, so
we got together. Not got together, but we met.
We did get together.
And we did not get together at the time in Chicago.
No, not in Chicago.
No, because it was you and you had your girlfriends.
July for my birthday.
And she lied about having a license.
I didn't lie. You didn't ask if I had a license.
And she drove my car.
I did drive. I could drive.
The only reason I was scared when she was driving. I was like, why is she driving so crazy? What's going on here? And then Heather sitting back next to me.
Shout out to Heather Haynes.
Heather was like, I can't believe you let her drive and she ain't got no license. And I was like, what?
Yeah, everybody in the back seat was fired up. I was following.
Nobody knew she did not have a license. Nobody but Heather knew she didn't have a license.
They all knew I didn't have a license.
Heather told me. She's like, hey, she ain't got no license. Why you let her drive? Like, pull over. She's on the freeway freaking out, driving like, oh my goodness, what's going on?
I was following somebody, and because I didn't know where I was going.
Because you never drove on the freeway before.
No, I hadn't.
She never drove on the freeway. She was pretending.
I was pretending.
Yeah. So there we go. We started our relationship off in a lie. Right there.
Ooh, okay.
And bullying.
Oh,
she bullied me.
Wow. Okay.
But it's the best bully ever.
Okay.
So anyway, we got together.
There was a ring on my finger in August.
Proposed in August. She said yes. It was at a party because we had a party during that time.
Yeah, it was your party.
Yeah, because I was partying all the time.
Yeah,
I was partying. I had to get that out of my system. That was one of the things I had to get out of my system was partying and just having a great time and just doing whatever I wanted to do. And that was one of the issues that we had when we got married because, I had to put that part of my life to the side.
Yeah.
But because you accepted me during that time, didn't realize you needed to put that to the side, and we never discussed that. So
Yeah, because I just assumed
which you never
that
did.
would happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because I assumed that it was all right because you assumed and you let me do it. That's how we met. Well, that's how we
We'll
met.
get to that.
Yeah, and then we went to counseling, which you should always go to counseling.
You jumped ahead.
But you just said.
You jumped ahead. You
Oh,
jumped ahead to counseling. We
okay.
hadn't even told me when we got married.
But okay, so we met, and but we had counseling. So we had to go counseling before we got married.
We had an hour before.
But we had it. So we supposed to get. We got engaged in July. So no, we met in July. That was when we first officially started dating in June. Your birthday came July, and then we had got engaged in August, and we wanted to get married quickly. So September.
Yeah.
So August, September. So during that time, we needed to get counseling because we had to make sure we were at least moderately yoked. Because we had not talked about any of this stuff.
Well, we kind of had, because we thought we had it together.
We thought we had it
when
together.
We walked into the office, we knew, oh, this is gonna be a breeze because we know we're compatible, we're linked, and all this. Yeah.
Thank you, Pastor Alvin.
Yes.
Alvin Goodwin. Yeah, thank you. So my mom talked to him to counsel us or to talk to us about getting married. So we went there, we talked to him, we found out it was like hiccups all over the place. But of course,
we were like, oh, we got it.
We got this. We're not going to worry about that.
We got
money.
Oh, whatever. We got this. Love is going to carry us through.
Yes. What job do you have?
We're going to make it because we love each other.
It's not about the money.
Yeah.
Well, what church are you going to go to? Oh,
I got my church. He got his.
Yeah, but
love is going to take us through.
That wasn't it either. So all these things you have to talk about, which we did not talk about.
Right.
We didn't talk about money, finance, how we're going to do everything.
No.
We didn't talk about church and how we're going to do church. We didn't talk about kids.
No.
What about kids? We didn't talk about.
We talked about kids. You said you wanted 5, and I was like, yeah.
Did I say 5 or say 10?
You said,
I think I said 10.
And then I was like, you crazy.
No, you like, yeah, let's have 10.
No, I did not.
But then you had that first one and was like, no.
You said 5, and I had that first one. I was like, we might just be having 1.
Well, let's see. We talked about that, but we didn't communicate. Communication was not our strong suit because we were still in the love.
Love can handle everything.
The love phase. So no matter what, the answer still was going to move forward, and we're going to do this in September. So we got September date there, and no matter what anybody said, we were still going to do it. But we still did have the counseling. We knew we were both Christian. We just didn't know the steps and the rules that we needed to establish for our marriage, because you should always have some type of rules, some type of, you have to talk everything out. You have to have a mission statement for your marriage. You have to know what you're going to do, and what your goals are for your marriage, which we did not have.
We did not have.
And that was
his love. We're going to love each other.
That was a headache. We didn't even know where we were going to live.
We did not.
No.
So we got married on Saturday, the 25th in 1993, in September.
So met in July.
We met in June. We started dating. No. We met in May. We started dating in June. We got engaged in July.
No. Let's take it back. We started dating in June.
Yeah.
But we didn't start going together till July, and it was after your birthday because I gave you the kissy bear. That's when we officially started dating.
Oh wow! Did y'all I just learned something today. So all this time I'm thinking we a couple, and he just now saying that
we were a couple because I was driving up to UK every single day, even though I had a full-time job.
Yes, you did. So
gee whiz.
That said, I'm your guy and you're my girl.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, but officially it was July.
Wow.
It wasn't official in July.
It was official in June. So I thought.
Okay, it was official in June.
Wow.
So it was official in June. Where were we at anyway?
We were on I was on campus.
No. I mean, where were we at in the conversation? Because we're trying to keep up.
Oh, we got married, and then after the marriage.
So we had the marriage. So we got married. And of course, that started off because I was actually working. I just got a job.
Yes.
Working because I was with the school system. and
You left that.
left the school system and ended up getting a job with Ellen Berry, which is going to date me.
Yes.
I was working for the Yellow
Phone
Pages.
books.
I was working for the Yellow Pages people and selling little lines in the advertising.
That is so funny.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So he went to Alabama.
I flew out the day after our wedding. I flew out to Birmingham, Alabama for training.
Yeah.
So I went down there for training. It was 2 weeks.
No, it was longer.
Was it 3 weeks? You came down once.
No, I didn't.
There we go. She came down to Alabama once during the time because that's when the people ate the ducks. They were oh, baby. I'm sorry. You came down one time.
I
Yes.
did?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Pregnant. I flew somewhere pregnant.
Yes. And this also tells you she is pregnant also.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
So little
Oh, yeah, I was pregnant there.
Little Chris, now you know. Don't do your math. Don't do your math.
I was pregnant.
You were pregnant.
I was.
Yes.
Because we were originally supposed to get married like a year later, but I had already bought the dress.
Yes, she did.
And I was like,
nice.
ooh.
But anyway, let's go back to it because this is what I said, it's going to be more than one time. So we got married. I flew to Alabama for the first, I'm going to say it was a month. I'm going to say it was a month.
I think it was
of training. Yeah. So for the first month of training, I went down there and had to do all the stuff and do the training for Ellen Berry. And I think I came back up once and then you came down. I think you came down. I'm pretty sure you did.
How I was going to get there?
That drive?
We had no money. What am I driving?
We sure didn't have any money.
What am I
So
driving?
my brother got us because we didn't have a honeymoon officially. My brother got us a hotel room down at the Galt House.
I thought it was the Hyatt.
It was the Hyatt. Down at the Hyatt for a night. And then I dropped you off and then had to get out to the airport. And I drove to the airport and I was running late and I was about to miss my plane. So I parked the truck because I drove a truck, parked the truck at the front of the airport in the drop-off lane, got out the car, grabbed my bags and left the car there running.
Oh, I know what that was.
With the keys in it because I was like, okay, I'm going to call somebody when I land to come back and get. So I got there. I called my mother and said, hey, Mom, I left the keys in the car. They're running in the airport. Have somebody go there and pick it up. And they went there and it was still there. And they picked it up and took it. This is back. This was in local. So, yes.
Wow.
So that happened. So our marriage started off with a lot of stuff.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I was still,
and she still
in school.
And she couldn't have picked up the car because guess what?
I didn't have a driver's license.
She didn't have a driver's license. And she had never drove a stick before.
Right.
So I was trying to teach her how to drive a stick also.
Yeah.
Because she had to get around. So now we have a truck. And it was one of those trucks that had the two front seats.
Two-seater.
And this wasn't back when they had the trucks that had the two-door. It was a one door. And then the back seat folded down. So we had to put the baby in the back seat in the
little car seat. Car seat fit in a little fold down chair in the back.
Yes.
But he was strapped in.
He was strapped in though. But man, that was we did what we needed to do.
We did it. So we, as you can hear, we had no money. We had no place to live.
Nope, no money. And I was in Birmingham the first month.
Yes. And I was on campus. So it didn't seem so bad then because it was still kind of normal for me to be, with my sorority sisters. Shout out to Carice and Cicely. We all lived together on campus. And, it was kind of normal. It was fun. Me and my sorority sisters and everybody's rubbing my belly and it's exciting. I'm, showing the ring off and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And then it came for winter break, and we were trying to figure out
winter break,
where we're gonna live.
Winter break was after you got married. So after we got married, and December came around, we needed a place to stay. So we couldn't stay with her mom because there was no place to stay there. Her mom and her dad, and we couldn't stay with by ourselves because I gave up my apartment that I had. So we ended up moving with my sister because she had a room there. So we moved in with my sister and her husband and her daughter. Where
was Carl?
Little Carl?
Yeah.
Luke Carl was up at Ball State.
Oh, that's right. He was in college.
Yeah.
So that was a little friction, just friction.
Yeah, friction because I wasn't having sex in my sister's house. And there's some lady over here going through her.
Some lady over here was
wanting
like
to have sex all the time in
every
another
day.
room. I'm like, oh, I can't do this. The walls are like paper thin.
You didn't say that when we was on campus.
I hear people snoring and everything. Anyway, so
what? So yeah, it was a difficult time.
Yes. So then we ended up moving down because we owned a house on Virginia.
Yes.
So we went down.
Shout out to your mom, who was a real estate owner.
Yeah. So we moved down to Virginia and stayed in a house there, which was a large house, but still had a lot of work to be done.
Yes.
Renovation. It had needed the furnace. You needed air conditioning. There was no air conditioning unit.
No AC.
So when it was cold, it was cold. And this is the time when it was so cold, we would open up the stove and turn up the heat just to have heat
hope
coming.
The heat would get back to our room because it was a large house.
And when you have the big kerosene heater, you put the kerosene in the thing, you push the button, and the kerosene heater was cold.
It was cold.
It was cold,
and it was so hot.
Oh, and it would get so hot.
Oh my god!
That you had the fans and the yes.
We didn't have a fan, so my parents gave us a window air conditioner, but it can only cool one room. So it was like you were in your underwear and in the bedroom. That was it the whole day.
It was hot. And let's tell you, it was so hot that we didn't have air conditioning. We didn't have the heat
when it was cold.
And the electric bill was still
insane. It was so
we're
expensive.
talking 1993.
Yes.
94.
1994.
So 95.
No, 94.
The bill. We got the bill was 95. No. Because Chris was okay. So 94. The bill was
had to be like $600-700.
No, it was $700 and something back
which is
then.
Insane back then.
And we didn't have air conditioning.
Right?
Yeah, it was like
it was us trying to heat the home. Yeah. That was what it was.
Yeah, we could only use half of it because the back part.
Yeah.
But this built on the part of stress.
But this was
because we hadn't planned for this before we got married. So then we incurred all these bills and stuff.
Yes.
And there was no stable. I didn't have a job by that time. What was still Ellen Berry?
You was with Ellen Berry, but it was just entry level.
Yeah, it was entry level. So
and no matter what job you had at that time, it was not going to pay that bill.
No,
it was not going to pay that bill.
So now we're talking about lack of communication in the direction that we're going. It's a lack of communication about the money and what money was coming in, because you weren't working at that time.
I was still in class.
You're still in school. So then with school.
And we're talking about college. Okay. He's not a perv. We're talking about college.
I was in college.
A junior in college.
Right. So you were on campus.
I was on campus.
For some of that. And then some of that you're back at the house because you just had the baby. Or about to have the baby.
Well, yeah. Because this is like kind of like January or whatever. So we're talking about, if you just tuned in, we're talking about what led to the breakdown of our marriage.
The first year was just a rough year for lack of planning and communication, and just in that puppy dog, starry-eyed
love is gonna get us through.
And it did. Yeah.
Well, no one told us. Well, anything.
We didn't ask anybody. Before anybody
had asked.
Before we even had anything, we said, "Hey, we're getting married," and there was just nobody to ask. We moved so fast. And there's nothing wrong with moving fast, but you have to talk everything out. We were young. Well,
we were young.
You were young.
Yeah, I was 19 when we met, 20 when we got married, and you were just 23.
Yep, then turned 24. So it was just young, two young people,
in love,
fascinated with each other, and
I was fascinated with you.
I was fascinated with you. Yes, I'm fascinated with you. But the first year, they tell you the first 7 years, but no, it's the first 2 years. The first 2 years, you have to get past that part. You have to understand who you are.
If you don't know the stuff we're talking about, because like our children, our daughter who is married, they didn't have any of these problems because they had us to tell them. They had other married couples to tell them.
They had support.
They had support and foundation, and they knew things. And
but they were in church too.
Word, right?
Yeah, and when you're in the Word, you have a source behind you, and people supporting you, talking to you, communicating. It makes a difference.
It makes a big difference. So let's jump to April 1994.
I'm gonna get you.
I left school early to
I don't know, but I know.
to have our first child.
Yes.
And as we said, we were living in Virginia, and that was one of the areas when we did talk about, when we were dating, where do you want to live?
So we were Valerie first.
Yeah, that was.
And then we had the baby, and then we went down to Virginia.
We were only with your sister for the winter break. That
right, but not with the baby. Right.
Not
when we
with
had
the
baby. We were at Virginia.
Yeah, at Virginia.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know Louisville, Kentucky, the area we're talking about is the west end of Louisville. And we were in the west end of Louisville. All of the murders happened in like an L in this area.
But it's not in the area we were in.
Yes, it was
down the street from the area we were in.
We were
in
the
mind,
L.
In her mind, it was in there.
It was we were in the L.
In there. We were on the elbow. Is what it was. Anyway,
needless to say, I was scared to take my kid out in the front and in the
yes,
backyard.
she would still yell at the people in the yard. Hey, get off my! And there's a bus stop there.
It was a bus stop,
but she didn't want the bus stop, so she yelled at them, and she had to move the bus stop.
I sure did
because she didn't want people coming over to our bus stop.
Yes, because they would sit. We had a brick wall on the corner, and they would sit on the wall. They would drink 40 ounces of beer and eat Funyuns. So they would leave all that trash in the yard.
Big Gene had
the grocery store across the street, and they would go over there. Big Gene.
People say rest in peace for Big Gene too.
Ooh, rest in peace.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, Big Gene had his neighborhood shop,
and I'm glad they went there. Okay, I'm glad. But they left their trash in my yard, and I could not stand that. So. First, the yelling didn't work, so then I just went out and told them about Jesus.
That didn't work either.
Yes, they did. They didn't come back.
That's true.
They didn't come back because I went out there with asking them, "You want to go to Bible study? We can have one right now. Jesus died for you," and you can't drink in peace with someone talking about Jesus died for you. So
that's true.
That was an effective strategy.
That's true. She never came down off that wall. She stayed up there. She didn't walk down. She stayed up on the wall.
Stayed up on the wall in my property.
Like she's on Jericho. Hey, you know Jesus?
You know Jesus. He died for you. He don't want you drinking that beer, especially on my wall.
Yeah.
Anyway, so these are the things that contributed to the breakdown. I was living in an area I did not want to live in. No. We've already discussed
we had no
money. Okay.
Even though I was working, it was at a low rate. It was like, I don't know, maybe 15, maybe 13, maybe $12 an hour, but it was low.
Was it even $12?
I don't even know.
I don't think it was
because the minimum wage had to be like $7.
It was $7 back then.
It was low.
It was.
But anyway, I was even making minimum. I was making more than minimum, but still, it was not a.
It was not a lot.
No.
And then it was.
So no money, lack of communication.
Yeah. And then I was mad because
you were there. So you're always mad?
Because no. You got to go to work in air conditioning, and you rode in the truck in air conditioning.
Yes.
But I was at home
by herself,
sweating
with nobody to talk
with this baby.
Yes. And this is when you had a phone that you had to carry like
right.
It was on the wall,
right?
And so you had to walk into the kitchen and grab the wall.
So if you wanted to call somebody, you had to go to the kitchen
where it's hot.
No, you do not. Right? It was baking in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And don't come home expecting something to eat. To turn on the flame in the kitchen to cook you something.
Yeah. So there's so her cooking skills did not exist. Did not exist, and this is before microwave. So there was no microwave.
No microwave.
So you had to cook. And then to have a baby on top of it.
Oh yeah.
So now you got the stress and everything going with the baby.
Yes. And shout out to Chris Collins II, your whiny self. You was a whiny baby. If you wasn't on my hip, you was whining.
He did whine.
He was whining.
Yes. Okay, so this was episode 1. Like I said, this is going to be a multi-episodal thing, and we'll bring different videos in. We'll talk about how we handled it then and how we should handle it now.
He talking about?
I don't know either, but I'll come up with something because this is important. And like I said, lack of communication, lack of finance, lack of knowing who we are.
And not sharing what we expected. We didn't talk about what we expected to happen or what we expected marriage or living together. To be like, I never lived with anybody. There's one boundary I wouldn't cross. And when you live with somebody, you got it all. You see it all. All the good, all the bad, all the burps, all the farts, everything. It's just everything.
Well, she didn't fart back then. She kept it all private to herself.
Yeah, I was able to hold it a little bit longer, unlike today.
Yeah.
But so
she'll fart now anyway. Farts now.
Not anywhere.
Just fart at the table right now.
Just stop. But so June in '94, the trouble really was compounded.
It did. It did compound. It was
and all that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. We had to learn.
And he wasn't a registered nurse at the time, so we didn't know what postpartum depression was.
No.
Never even heard of it. No. I don't think the doctor said anything about it.
It was just selfishness. It was just selfishness. I was selfish.
But postpartum depression is real.
It is real. And it was
It was up there.
It was up there.
So I guess we will continue next time. Next time you tune in, we'll talk more about, since you already know what the breakdowns were, we'll talk about what the turning point was and those action steps that you can take in order for you to avoid this if you're not there, and to come out of this if you are in some mess right now.
Yes.
So before we close out today, we never want to leave without knowing that this God we're always talking about. He is wonderful. He is awesome. And he loves you.
Yes.
How much? He loved you so much that he put himself, Jesus, in a flesh body, inside a virgin named Mary. And he lived for 33 and a half years without ever committing a sin. And then he gave up his life for you and us, so that we can be able to have a relationship with God.
Yes.
So if you believe in your heart and you can boldly confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, then the Bible says you will be saved.
Yes.
So if you would like to join us, be family with us, and come into the kingdom of God, all you have to do is repeat after me. Dear God.
Dear God.
Your word says
that
if I believe in my heart,
and
confess with my mouth,
that
Jesus is Lord,
then
I be saved.
That I will be saved.
I do that now. And I thank you. For loving me so much. That you saved me. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Welcome into the family of God. If you just prayed that prayer with us and you meant it with all your heart, then we welcome you into the kingdom of God. Why don't you email me? My email is in the description box, and let me know that you have joined the family. Yes. I want to welcome you and disciple you and tell you what your next steps are.
Cool.
So, we are going to see you next time. And remember, you really can have the marriage of your dreams.
Yep.
You just need the tools to build it.
Chapter 2. Now take on the day.
Take on the day. Bye.